If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them to buy our merch. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is me being lonely and by myself. We're doing something a little bit different, dear listeners. This is Hip Hop Night. We are a heavy metal reaction channel.
We are.
However,
tonight's different.
We are a community first channel. Our community is the Village, Facebook.com.
We are DJ driven.
Vin and Sori. And so we're very, very interactive. Our DJs are people that get 4 songs minimum, gets you the entire night. And there's also alliances, all that stuff you heard in the commercial. And we've got 2 individuals. This is a West Side, East Side stream. We have DJ Mike, you see right there. And then we got DJ Negative Vibes, you can see right there. And they've combined forces in order to do this night. Okay, so the next song is Killuminati. Will Not Save You by this fella by the name of King Lil G. Lil G. Killuminati won't save you. Let's do this shit. Let's go. Woo! Did you see
I'm the black sheep of the family, graffiti up on the alley, an ambulance passing another tragedy happened in Cali. All I wanted was a role model. My father worked hard, so tell me who the fuck was I supposed to follow? It's hard to swallow, my stomach's hollow, knowing I only had top ramen to eat tomorrow. I had no problem drug dealing. I get mad when I think of all the bullshit that I was feeling. I believe my father really broke a happy home, left us stranded in the dark for a fucking whore. I pray to God it wouldn't happen, but I was ignored. If it ain't my family, what the fuck I'm living for? No looking forward, no looking back, no hesitation when I put my hands on that strap. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Killuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. 1 shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe? This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed. I'm still mad at my brother's chick. I can't believe she snitched on him. Goddamn, you want some other shit. I learned my lesson, never trust a bitch. I'm thinking karma's a motherfucker while staring at my rubber grip. My close homies on the run again. My phone's tapped, I think I'm being followed by these undercover pigs. I think they wanna set me up on some sucker shit. Snitching will never happen forever, be the opposite. Got my enemies saying that motherfucker's sick. L.A., Chi-Town, even Brooklyn. We got something in common if you wondering. Hustle hard till the day you pay your mother's rent. Ain't that the real reason why we started hustling? Besides the cars and the fame and trying to fuck a bitch. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes. Stranded in the ghetto is something that's never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Killuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. One shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe?
I like this.
This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed. My president is talking about some bullshit again. They keep taking education money from the kids. I've never seen them once ever speak about the homeless or ever talk about the gang-related feeling hopeless. In case you didn't notice, the youngest to the oldest, homies never realized till that eviction notice. It's time for us to grow up. The real world's afraid of us. That's why they never show love. You know what they label us. Wish I could just ignore the world with an ounce of weed and tell the people in the ghetto they could count on me. Now dim the motherfucking lights, put me in front of a crowd who applauds when I mention Christ. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes, stranded in the ghetto with something that's never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Killuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. One shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe? This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed.
Who is
Wow.
this guy?
I don't know, he's good.
King Lil G.
Yeah, he's good.
King Lil G from South Central LA. You're saying he's good. What was good about it?
Well,
What did you like
I liked
what do you know about it?
I liked the feel, the vibe, the sound of it, the way that he was rapping. I also liked some of the things that he was saying. He was very, which I guess rap usually is pretty, I don't know. It just seemed kind of honest. Like he was saying that it's not people struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Like it's looking one way, but was he saying like, it's not really like the way that it's shown is not. It's worse than that.
Yeah, there's
know.
a phrase that says that the revolution won't be televised.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I think he was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was picking up off of that that line.
That's something we learned in Revo Week, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, it came up in Revo Week. I'm sure you've known about that.
I grew up with that phrase.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't grow up with that phrase, but that I'm not. Okay. So this was about the struggle.
Yeah.
The struggle in the ghetto and the perspective of a guy who sold drugs and got in the middle of all the shit, as it were. Mm-hmm. Let's see what he says. I'm the black sheep of the family, graffiti up on the alley, an ambulance passing, another tragedy happened in Cali. All I wanted was a role model. My father, yeah, that's crazy. He said his mom, his dad broke their home, went off with a whore or whatever. Yeah, dads in hip hop don't do very well.
And that's what helps create that artist.
Ready to die while I act that way. Pop Dukes left Mom Dukes. Oh, that was a line where Biggie drops the F word. Pop Dukes left Mom Dukes, the faggot took the back way. Now, the only reason I'm using the word is because, again, that's an example of wordplay.
Right.
Because he took the back way. Pop's Duke left Mom Dukes, the faggot took the back way. So that's relevant for the rhyme scheme. But yeah, man, dads don't do very well in hip hop. What was it? Pac.
Why do you think that is?
Talking about his dad, and when he died, I didn't cry because my anger wouldn't let me mourn for a stranger. So they just don't do well in rap, and we're the generation of, when mass incarceration really hit during the crack era and all that. Big, this guy, me, we're the generation after that. So, we're the generation that, okay, what are the results of mass incarceration of black men? Mm-hmm. And I think it's very, very fascinating when you look at what's happening right now in the conversation relative to masculinity. When they're talking about the manosphere, guys like Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, whatever.
Yep.
People are starting to recognize that at a cultural level, we have a man problem, and not in the sense that men are the problem, but going actually underneath that and realizing that there are no father figure, the archetype of the father figure is gone. And all men are hearing in the media is that they're horrible. Now, Jordan Peterson and the rest of those guys in Manosphere, most of the time, it's appealing to men. And I remember when all this stuff first happened, you know, with Jordan Peterson and all the rest. I was intrigued by Jordan Peterson because of his intellectualism. But he kind of blew up overnight, and I remember he was talking at Liberty University, and we know somebody we know somebody that's it.
Yep.
And the kid interrupted the whatever and breaks down and starts crying.
Yep.
And he says, "I'm unwell, I need help." And Peterson was the first guy there. And then the other guys showed up and they started praying over this dude. But it changed my entire, that moment changed so many things for me. Like the whole incel thing. Like we've got shows, and this is one of those people always ask, like, do you regret whatever? Because you've got thousands of videos. There was one particular show where I was dealing with one of these folks. And if I could have taken it back, I'd have taken the whole thing back. The context of the show was, do we still need feminism? And this guy was calling and saying no. So I'm always going to default to the underdog, not realizing that
there was something really major
kid,
going on.
There's a lot of dudes with a lot of father wounds, and one of the things that really gets me really angry is when I hear progressives who don't have children talk about mothers and fathers as if they're just interchangeable pieces. As if they're not. No.
No, they're not.
Mothers are necessary. Fathers are necessary.
Yep.
I understand people have their ideologies, and so if you admit that mothers and fathers are necessary for the healthy development of the child, it has implications otherwise. But I've been on the Middle America channel, and I've actually had people try to tell me that a kid's going to be fine if he grows up without a dad. I'm like, how many kids do you have? None. So all these like mega progressive people that tell us we don't need fathers and all the rest of it, like, no. If we don't have fathers and we don't have strong men, you get Andrew Tate. I'm not going to say you get Jordan Peterson, because y'all are just crazy relative to Jordan Peterson. He's not as bad as you think as you guys are saying that he is. It's just crazy to me when people like Anna Kasparian or whatever have the nerve to criticize Jordan Peterson's intellectual bona fides. I think that's just insane. Shout out shout out to Brazil. But they hate Jordan Peterson. I mean, mostly they hate Jordan Peterson because of trans stuff. Because that's how he got famous, was he spoke out against having to be forced to use other people's pronouns, even though he used the pronouns of his students when they were in class, but, all the rest of it. But
really? That's
but what people don't understand about Jordan Peterson is that when you read his books and you listen to him talk, he's telling young men how to be men. And he's starting at a real basic level. Get up and make your bed.
Yep.
And I had my older brother. So I'm sure I do have it, because you don't know what you don't know. But the wound of the father wound is less so for me, because I had my older brother, who really, to me, functions like a father figure. I mean, he was just so mature. He was the reason. I mean, I didn't follow his path when I was down there, but he was the reason that among my friends, I was the one with the head on the shoulders, which is insane to me. But he's so I don't know if I've had that or not. My older brother was the one that took me to my first job interview. He was also the one that gave me my first pep talk when I didn't get it. He was the one that told the judge I had a 4.0 GPA. When I got jammed up and I had a shit public defender, my older brother got up there and took it. Like he always. So my older brother was my father figure. So I didn't necessarily grow up with that feeling of like, who's gonna guide me, who can I talk to, who's gonna teach me how to be a man, all that shit. Like, that was mostly my older brother. Like, he didn't really give me a lot of advice about girls, because we engage with girls a little bit differently. But other than that, But like going here and he's talking about drug dealing, he's talking about eating ramen and all the rest of it. All the locus of all of that is losing his father. So that has so many ramifications on a man, and that the only thing positive I can get from this manosphere stuff is hopefully people are going to start having a cultural conversation and go, why is it that these men are attracted to a guy like I think Andrew Tate is a perfect example, just horrible human being. From what I know, he could be completely innocent of anything, although he's admitted to having girls do cam work for him or whatever.
Yeah.
And I have no respect for dudes that do that either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You're out there exploiting women. Like, man, fuck you, Andrew. I hope you rot in a Romanian prison. But there's no conversation about why, and it's because we vilified men in this culture, especially the people that Jordan Peterson appeals to.
Yeah.
We don't. Well, I don't care about why cis white males are hurt and why they need a father figure and why they got a generation of kids raising themselves. We don't need to talk about that. It's just men are bad, and Jordan Peterson. Very satisfying to beat up on cis white men. It's very, very satisfying, I'm sure.
But it's not going to get us anywhere.
It's not going to get us anywhere.
Right.
It's not going to get us anywhere. It's like we got to figure out why these cultural phenomena are happening the way that it happens. Because I'm sorry, man, like dudes are in serious pain, and don't worry about it. As you can hear, dudes are in serious pain, and they're not being given the tools to deal with it. Now, as a black person, it's even worse, because on top of just the exigencies of life, we've got an entire society and system that's designed specifically to target us and put us in these facilities. I mean, when I got jammed up by the police, it wasn't because I had a gun in my hands. It was because I spent too much time at a bookstore getting a book of poetry for my brother, and the cop, he had it out for me. And it was obvious that he had it out for me, and he literally got me a summons. I was 2 blocks away from school in a fire drill. So that and other experience, all my friends have had them. You got an entire system that's designed to get you, bro. You got an entire system that's designed to get you on top of the fatherlessness issue. That's why I have very little pity for these. When I hear people talk about getting triggered, all these disparate groups that get triggered, like, it's not that I don't care, it's just I don't justify it. Like, it's hard for me, you know, I talk about this, like the trans person, they were getting misgendered in the GameStop, so they just blew up the GameStop. They just trashed it all over the place. I'm like, that's an indication of your privilege. That you think that because somebody called you something you didn't want to be called, you get to tear up the store. That's privilege. Yeah. Like, 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, like, come on. Like, you're 6'3", you've got a very angular face, your upper body is not transitioned, I'm sorry. And because this kid made a series of mistakes, you get to completely destroy GameStop, fucking on camera, threaten this kid,
that kid was clearly nervous,
threaten to physically assault him, all types of shit.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Right.
Could you imagine if I did that in a GameStop, somebody slipped up, called me a nigger, I just destroyed everything, threatened to beat the hell out of the guy? What do you think would happen to me when the cops showed up?
We all know what would happen.
So my point is, songs like this are important, because it's highlighting, you know, you've got a generation of people that have a massive father wound because of mass incarceration. And so if Jordan Peterson is necessary for society at large, what do you think is going on in our culture? And that's why black folks are just killing each other, like, because they're full of anger and they're full of pain. They don't know where to ventilate it, you know? And like, it's because a lot of them are so defeated mentally. You know, I talk about this a lot, where the book of Exodus opens up with the Israelites enslaved to the Egyptians. Yep. And it opens up with two Hebrew slaves fighting each other. Yep. And Moses shows up, and he It doesn't show up with them fighting. It actually shows up with an Egyptian slave master beating the hell out of some Israeli.
Right.
So Moses shows up and kills the guy that did that. The next day, the Hebrew slaves are fighting each other. Moses says, "Don't fight him, he's your brother." And the guy turns around and says to Moses, "Are you going to kill us like you killed the Egyptian?" That's a very fascinating story, because you got people enslaved under brutal, harsh treatment. Not like the nice treatment that white people gave us. You got these slaves under brutal treatment, and you could tell their spirits aren't completely broken because they're fighting each other. Why wouldn't you fight your oppressor? Farrakhan asks this. He says, "Listen, you guys are killing each other on camera. Yeah. You guys are doing all time. You're doing broad daylight hits, and then as soon as these white folks in the blue car shows up, y'all out of there."
Maybe it's a sort of defeated feeling that like you can't beat all of Egypt,
Correct.
but you could fight your brother
Correct.
and win.
You can't beat Egypt because they've enslaved you, but you still have all this pain because you're a slave. So where is it going to go? It's going to go to your fellow brother.
Right.
Like, if these people ever figured out, why am I shooting this guy? He looks like me. He's not oppressing me. We have a problem in this country. Shit would change tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It would change tomorrow. That's why there are certain groups in this country that have a vested interest in keeping black people at each other's throats. It's a lot safer for a lot more people. So, love the song because it hit up on the real issue, which is in the ghetto. It's fatherlessness, and why there's fatherlessness. There's a multitude of issues there, but there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Some of the lines were like when he said, "My music is a pain in my mother's eyes." Mm-hmm. Oh man. Just some of the lines were just pretty deep. I really liked this song. I'm gonna actually give this one a 9.7. Do we have audio issues?
Amy alluded to that, so we'll see. Being indigenous in a white man's world can be worse. I'd rather be intimidated to the whites than being ignored altogether. We've been in invisible society for eons. Yeah, I hear you. Especially when these indigenous girls turn up missing and nothing happens, and then some, no disrespect, but some white girl turns up missing. The entire country's got to look under their couches and shit to find her. But the indigenous girl is missing. It's business as usual. We don't even know.
Yeah, right.
Okay. A roundtable on why men don't matter anymore needs to happen. I agree. I think that'd be a good Middle America conversation. We need 2 more guests for that, Dan. But yeah, once we get 2 more guests for that, let's do a show on that for sure. For sure. Okay, what'd you give the song? 9.4 for me.
9.7. 9.7 for me.
Excellent. We shall return. More hip hop.
We'll
Deeper than you thought, losers. Deeper than you thought. We shall return.